Hello and welcome to our January 22nd, 2020 live Facebook Q&A for our Payroll Solutions for Accounting Professionals community. I am Shannon Tice, and today I will be answering the age-old debate on who gets a 1099s, more specifically, what payment types qualify to get a 1099. This always seems to be a really hotly debated topic this time of year, especially, but the really simple answer is if you pay with a cash or cash equivalent, you put it on a 1099. If you pay with a credit card or credit card equivalent, it does not go on a 1099 miscellaneous. It goes on a 1099K. But let's elaborate a little bit more on that and more fully describe what's a cash equivalent and what's a credit card equivalent. So obviously a cash or a written check are a cash equivalent, but so is an ACH or Veem or PayPal Friends and Family or Venmo or anything else that is not run through a merchant service account. But where things get a little bit more tricky and where a lot more of the debate happens is what is a merchant account or what is a payment card? The IRS, if you just read the 1099 miscellaneous instructions, it's a little bit cloudy and murky. However, the IRS has put out a FAQ on payment card transactions. I will include a link to that when, actually I will include a link to that right now. Just give me a second to do all of this stuff. One day I will be smooth and be able to do all this stuff and make it look effortless like a lot of other people. However, today is not that day. So, and if you're watching this live, please feel free to post your questions in the comments and I will try to answer them as I come across them. All right, so now I'm going to share my screen so we can take a look at what the IRS says is a payment card transaction. Basically, is anything that runs through a merchant service account. So the term payment card includes credit cards, debit cards, and stored value cards, like a gift card, as well as a payment through any distinctive marks of a payment card, such as a credit card number. So I know years ago, you used to have a debit card through your bank that was just a bank card. It worked at the ATM and you couldn't really use it at stores because it didn't have a Visa or MasterCard logo on it and it didn't have a credit card number. However, I don't think there's very many of those still out there today. So debit card transactions, whether you use a PIN to complete the transaction or don't use a PIN to complete the transaction, is run through a merchant service account. So anything that runs through a merchant service account is the merchant service company will issue a 1099K. The thresholds for issuing a 1099K are significantly higher than a 1099 miscellaneous because a 1099 miscellaneous is $600 threshold and a 1099K is $20,000. But a lot of times the merchant service company will just issue them no matter what the dollar amount or if they hit the minimum 200 transactions or not. Because I have gotten 1099Ks for my own company and my husband's company, and they have not met the minimum guidelines. And that's just it, they're minimum guidelines. So I would, the bottom line is they're going to get reported. See, and you don't want to duplicate the income for your supplier, your vendor, your subcontractor, or your other service provider. So you want to make sure that you are following the instructions for the 1099 miscellaneous and the additional instructions on what a payment card transaction is, so that you know what transactions to exclude. I had another thought and I just lost it temporarily, so I'm going to move on to the next point. A lot of people, I know there's so much debate and confusion among what needs to be included on the 1099, and just throwing your hands up in the air and saying, you know what, screw it, I'm going to include everything that I've paid the service provider or my vendor or whoever, is not necessarily right. You want to make sure that you're including only acceptable 1099 transactions. And some people, when they get their 1099, will be, no, you paid me $5,000, but you only included $2,500 on the 1099. But they're looking at the total amount that you paid, not how you paid it. You might have paid $2,500 with an ACH and $2,500 with a debit card or credit card. And so you just have to explain to them that what is allowed and what is not allowed. And I know there's so many people out there producing 1099s that are just like, yep, just include everything and you'll be fine. And the other thing that I hear a lot of people talking about is, I'm just going to include everything because I need to know that my vendor is including all of this as income. That really isn't your problem. You want to make sure you do things right on your end and just assume that the other person is going to do things right on their end. So I don't really have anything else. All right, I am not seeing any questions on the live here. So just to kind of reiterate, you want to include cash or cash equivalent transactions on a 1099 and not include anything that runs through a merchant account on a 1099, because those will be picked up with the 1099K. And the PayPal can be a little bit tricky because sometimes people will use PayPal Friends and Family and not run it through the PayPal merchant account. I'm not sure the best way to figure out which ones are run through the PayPal merchant account and which ones are run through PayPal Friends and Family. And some of that is just having conversations with your clients to find out how exactly they are making these payments. So if it's a transaction that is run through ACH, cash, check, Venmo, Veem, or any other ACH type processing, you want to include that on your 1099. If it's run through a merchant account, credit card, debit card, PayPal, or anything else that is a IRS qualified payment card transaction, you want to exclude those from your 1099s. And thank you, and I look forward to your questions if you have someone you're watching this on the replay. Thank you.